Is it harder to raise $25 million to make a film, or is it harder to raise $1 or $2 million for a smaller film?
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
The answer is easy. It's harder to raise $1 million than 25. I'm just saying there's a prejudice against films under $1 million.
We are here at the San Francisco main library, and I'm here with my honored guest, who I'm gonna let introduce himself. How you doing, sir? And can you tell the people your name and your position?
I am Tomás Fernández Robaina. I am a writer and researcher and professor at the National Library Cuba. And I have been working there for 53 years. So I am, as a librarian, I am a bibliographer, and I have many bibliographies published.
Well, in Cuba, tell us a little bit about what is in the Cuban libraries. I know that Cuba is descendants of the African slave nations, as well as the native people, as well as from the Spaniards who invaded. Do the books reflect the African history of Cuba in the Cuban library?
Well, the question, I think, is well done in one direction. I would say that in all the Cuban history books, we speak about the blacks, but not in the way that it should be. It should be because our Eurocentric education hides many aspects that have to be known by the black people and by the white people, or in order to realize how important was the black contribution, the African contribution to the creation of the Cuban nationality. And don't forget that the ideologues of the slavery, when they began to think about the nationality of create a Cuban nationality, blacks were excluded. And that is very important in order to realize how important is today and in the history the presence of the African heritage and of the Afro-descendants.
Do you see it changing anytime soon? I know the revolution did a lot to eradicate racism, but I know also that Cuba, is far ahead of the United States, but it also has ways to go to eradicate a system that took 400 years to build. Where is the Cuban literary canon in that fight?
Well, you have made me very interesting, important question that will take us to be speaking for hours, but I know that I cannot expand all what your question provoke in my mind there. I think that it's an illusion to think that racism and homophobia and many of the prejudices that have been in our culture for centuries can be eliminated in one century. That would take many years. So I think that one of the things, and we were trying to do that in Cuba, to begin teaching since the primary to the higher level of our education, the real history of the blacks, of the poor people, of the working class, of the women. Because it's not only to try to eradicate the discrimination against the black. Because if you are a person that don't discriminate black, but discriminate women or discriminate the gay, what do we have done?
I hear you, but let's be for real. Women weren't enslaved. Yes, there's chauvinism, no doubt. Gays weren't enslaved because they were gay. black people were enslaved because they were black in
Yes,
Cuba.
yeah, no.
No other nationality or no other
Yeah,
group was enslaved. So let's not play no games.
I am agree completely because of,
Okay, but don't minimize the African is what I'm saying.
No. Imagine, I never minimize Africa. What I am saying is that the fight in order to be successful, because
but it's based in the African.
Well, there is
just
one
like
point.
The civil rights movement and the human rights movement, based in the African struggle, because that's what the African people have been discriminated against the most.
At the end, when you go deeply and analyze the problems, you realize that there is one point very important in Cuba, and I have been accused a lot because I say that Cuba is a very racist country, because the racism is so enrooted in the mind of the Cuban people, white and black, because one of our fights has been very, very, very strong is among the black people, because they have those knowledge of the Eurocentric conception that they haven't realized how racist we were. Now, and that is our fight in this moment, and that is what I try to show in my books, that despite the fact we have to think that the black people has been discriminated forever, because as I read the other day, they didn't came in first class to America, to Cuba, to America.
To the Western Hemisphere,
they were slaves, they were also animals.
Treated like animals.
No, and we consider, you can see in the Cuban newspaper of the 19th century how an owner changed a house or a cow for one or two black people. So that is also amazing. And we speak a lot about the Holocaust of the Second World War, but we didn't speak about the Holocaust about the black people that was centuries.
That's true.
So I never minimize, please, I never minimize the problem of Africa, because I am one that have taught, I have tried to create that the consciousness of being black be expanded. Because when we consider that a black woman is beautiful, I will say in my talk, when the black woman, the pattern is like the white. And I have said that in Africa, there are so many ethnic groups. And Ethiopian is different from a Yoruba, and that we have to begin to think about that we have to change. We have to reopen the history. We have to reread all what we have been taught or learned from this point of view. If we want to begin to create a better world.
No doubt.
And we do, and you do, and we all do what we have to do. But being realistic, that it is a fight very, very, very long. Very important. Up to now, the power has been in white hands.
Right.
And sometimes when the black have the power, they haven't done anything like blacks. They have imitated the white people. And that is one of the great problems.
Well, thank you, sir, for your time. We appreciate you coming to the Bay Area, coming to the library, sitting with us right here. Shout out to Miss Naomi for helping us hook this up. But thank you again. We hope to meet you again next time in Havana.
Okay, I appreciate. And I hope that because that you send me a copy of this interview, is that possible to send to him?
No problem.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
The Sun Reporter was the paper initially, and then the Bayview, when the Bayview came on and became grassroots paper, then it became the paper. I thought it was good to have a paper, that was relevant to black people and what was going on.
It was black. It was pro-black. It was revolutionary. It was militant. It was uplifting. It was all those things.
There's a lot of publications out there, and I was familiar with the Burning Spear. of the Uhuru House. But if you think of how many publications that there are out there from black organizations, if you find one that really does it for you, then stick with it, be happy about it.
So I think the Bayview attracted me when I realized that this was the type of paper that was not only consistent, but was definitely committed to having like a cultural representation of our generation.
With Dead Prez, Oakland and the Bay Area has become like a second home for us. It's like our West Coast Brooklyn. That was in huge, large part because of the Bayview and just always offering the Bayview to us as a platform that could help us reach more people, and just keep us in the context of what was relevant and going on in the progressive side of the Bay.
Like Panther newspaper, truth to power. They wasn't scared to open their mouth. Not only that, they walked around with a gun. That just scared the hell out of white folks when they see black folks with guns. So that's why we get the comparison.
The Bayview newspaper persistently has been a thorn in the side of city government and federal government interests and media.
I think that the black press has played a really important role in the lives of black Americans for at least 200 years. One of the things that I really value about the Bayview newspaper is their willingness to publish a variety of voices that you're not going to find in alternative press, and you're certainly not going to find in mainstream press.
A lot of the information and a lot of the news was really concentrated into like the community and the district because there was so much going on during that time. It's more international, which I think speaks to the issues that Hunters Point and Bayview have, how those issues are connected to, a lot of other communities that are similar.
Only thing I say about the Ratcliff is that, they said that they gonna do what they gonna do. And I can't knock them. And anybody that had came here before they came in, they wasn't gonna do what they said they were doing. Something I saw in Mary, she was gonna do what she said she was gonna do. Because I had been around business people and I know what they said. When somebody come that they say they wanna do it, and they come to you, that's the one you wanna work with. And that's the way it went down. And there's no, I don't regret it. I regret that I had to get out of it, but that's the way it goes. You win some and lose some, and you gotta move on.
The Bayview newspaper is vital to the black community here in San Francisco for a couple of reasons. One of the things I really enjoy about the Bayview newspaper is the breadth of information contained in the newspaper, from localized events, what's going on in the Bayview community, but Black Bayview I think is very, very important. But I also like the international bend of the magazine, of the newspaper. It covers a wide range of issues, political, cultural, Black life in San Francisco, but it broadens that. And I think that in the absence of a quality newspaper in San Francisco, for San Franciscans in general, the demise of the San Francisco Weekly, the Guardian newspaper, the Chronicle, the Examiner, those are one type of media. I think the Black media has played a vital role in educating Black people to think locally but act globally, to understand our struggle as it relates to what's going on where we live here in the Bay Area, but also to contextualize that for the struggles that are going on in the Caribbean, in Africa, throughout the diaspora. The quality of the articles are very highly written and draw on different writers to offer a perspective that will resonate with the Black community. I like the partnership that the Bayview newspaper has with Poor Magazine. I like the coverage of the opening of the Bayview Linda Brooks Burton library. I enjoy the articles and information contained about various political struggles going on within the community, be it Bayview, Fillmore, over in the East Bay, and tying that all in to reflect the Black experience through the lens of Bayview editors. I think the quality of the writing is excellent. I think the dedication is there, and it is my go-to paper for information about Black San Francisco. So I feel like in these times in particular, as there seems to be a dramatic decrease in Black people living in San Francisco and being able to afford to remain in San Francisco, a paper like the Bayview newspaper is vital. I think that I'm a firm believer that all reading is good reading, and I think that the content of the Bayview newspaper appeals to a broad range of Black sensibilities. So I think a lot of times people look at literature as needing to be highbrow. There's lots of wonderful highbrow, academy-level writing that Black folk have contributed to, and I think that's wonderful. I think that in terms of newspapers, I think newspapers are in an interesting position where I feel like knowing your audience, knowing how to write articles that are going to appeal to not only more well-read readers, but a basic level reader, a reader that might have only a 7th or 8th grade education in terms of formal education, but are very sophisticated in their ability to connect the dots of the oppression of Black people and how corporations are set up and why society is set up the way that it is. Those are things you don't learn in school. So those are things you learn through life experience, your family life experience, but also the experience of Black people where you live locally and internationally. So one of the things that I enjoy about the Bayview newspaper is its willingness to state very plainly, you write for those who are incarcerated because they're still part of our community. You write for those people whose experiences are not reflected in the Chronicle, in the New York Times, and whose perspectives are often overlooked or tampered down or prevented from being heard. And so I think all of those strains, all of that information contributes to increasing the literacy of Black people. Because if your voice and your perspective is not reflected in whatever it is that you're reading, you're not going to be interested in reading it. So I think that library books and books in general, the printed books or ebooks are very important, but those books have to reflect our experiences. And our experiences are very diverse. And I think oftentimes when people look at San Francisco, they think of trolley cars, they think of Ghirardelli chocolate, and that's wonderful, but that doesn't really get to the heart of the experience of Black people in San Francisco. So that is part of the reason why the Bayview newspaper remains vital to creating stories that resonate with Black people and the things that are going on within our communities, and creating a paper where people really want to read each and every article, because there's a lot of information in the Bayview newspaper. It's pretty impressive that the paper is able to month pull together this information in a format that folks appreciate. I know that myself and other people actually seek out the paper and make sure that we go to our spots to get it at the beginning of the month so that, we have it to read throughout the month. And I think the other thing that I really like, aside from the actual articles, it's an important source for knowing what's going on culturally within our community, events where we can go and build community. And I think that has always been a really important part of Black newspapers. It's not just relaying information about events going on locally or nationally or internationally, but looking at safe spaces where we can go and celebrate our Blackness and build community for ourselves, for our children, and support one another as we're trying to do whatever it is that we're doing in life.
The
People's Minister of Information, JR. We here at this filthy rich meet and greet. I ran into the one and only one of my favorites from the Bay. A youngster, one of my young favorites from the Bay. Neff the Pharaoh, straight out the V. You know, we right here in the city, right here on Hate.
Frisco Love. You already
What's
know
happening,
what
man?
it is. I'm out here fucking with it. Came to support Phil. You know, that's my nigga. He was on my album. Not my album, but a project I did called Neffy Got Wings. I'm on his album, so it's only right a nigga come out and support. And I don't do this often, so, you know, I try to make my face rare.
That's what's up. Oh, you say you rare, huh?
Yeah,
You only came out for choice encounters.
Yeah, for real. I don't even do the pop-up.
That's what's
So I
up.
came out.
Well, you one of the young gunners that's in this Bay Area scene right now. How do you see the Bay Area hip-hop scene right now? I mean, are y'all still selling CDs, or do you sell straight off the computer?
Right now,
What
it's
is
a
y'all-
computer game. It's a
Okay.
motherfucking internet. Niggas is making guala off YouTube. Niggas is getting their money off Vimeo, iTunes, Tidal. It's just the internet game right now. But a nigga who CD who did just go platinum, who from the Bay, is my big brother G-Eazy. So shout out to him. That nigga just went platinum. He got the #1 single on the hip hop Billboard charts. Billboard charts. Excuse me. You know, niggas is high, but it is what it is. And that's just a big move for the Bay, and be on the world tour with him, it's just real big. It's real big.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about this Bay Area game and how y'all hooked up. At one point, Vallejo was doing the Vallejo thing, Oakland was doing the Oakland thing, but an Oakland artist and a Vallejo artist is out here in Frisco. How do y'all see the game in the Bay Area nowadays?
The Bay is we family. You feel me?
So
we
it's all one crew now.
always been family. You know, but just niggas was ignorant. I feel like everybody's city now is on some grown shit. And, you know, we finally seeing eye to eye. Niggas is not worried about what set you from. We all getting money, and if it ain't funk about the money, then niggas is not worried about it. That's why a South Vallejo nigga could be in Frisco. That's why a East Oakland Seminary nigga can be in Frisco and out here. We cool, you see. You know, we got the smart niggas out here too. They from Richmond, you know. So you know, they always out here. Everybody out here showing love. The Bay is just love, you feel me? But soon as you disrespect, it's fuck you. That's where it come from. That's where it started.
So tell us a little bit about this Neffy Got Wings, man. What is that project about? What should the people expect?
Neffy Got Wings is exclusively produced by Cardo, and if you don't know who Cardo is, he produced that 100 song by The Game and Drake. He played a big part in Wiz Khalifa's career, and me and Cardo hooked up. We got together a 10-song mixtape, and basically it's just a universal West Coast feel. You feel me? I got songs for the parties. I got songs for the females. I got songs for when you riding in your whip. I got songs for when you feeling some type of way. It's just a very universal, diverse project, and it's doing really well on the internet. Like I said, you know, it's all about the internet sales right now. It's doing exceptionally well on the internet. It premiered on Noisy while I was on the when it's Dark Out tour with G-Eazy, and it's just going up. We finna drop some videos for it. We just gonna push the project to full maximum capacity.
That's what it is. Before we get up out of here with you, bro, you gonna bust something for us?
Shit, I can't do it.
You ain't gonna bust nothing exclusive?
I can't do it.
Okay. Well, we caught up with Neff. We gonna catch him next time, though. You know what I'm saying?
Most indubitably.
So next time, you said most indubitably.
Most indubitably.
Next time when we catch you, you got one for the block
I got
report?
something for you. I got something for you. Most indubitably.
Right on, bro.
Appreciate you.
Right on.
Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Let me tell you about the best. Rapping about SF, Black Film Festival. You know we next to blow. Best positive black films on the planet. And you know you gotta have it. This flow comes to show we have our fingers on the pulse of what it means to be black. A whack rap, nah, not that. We dispel negative stereotypes with positive films, yup, that's right. No pimping, drug pushing, no wimping. This is what we build, man. National and international films, film festival every June 10th. Listen to what I said. We had the remedy for your Hollywood addiction, located in San Fran. that place you've been missing. Yeah.
One more time. Hola, hola, hola. Don't be shy. Hola, hola, hola. Say hola, hola, hola. Make some noise for the ancestors in la casa. Let's go. We are Bang Data from the Bay Area. Please come on up to the front and enjoy the songs with us tonight. Dedicated to my grandma, and my grandfather tonight. And also the people who are living in this world trying to make it a better place. If you have love in your heart, you want to have a good time, make some noise. Come on. Let me say something tonight. Look at how we do it, rock the mic. Look at how I do every time we come shine. These are the things that I feel so divine. See, that's right, cannot rip it apart. My heart is so strong up and so my art to see. This is one of the last strongholds, so make some noise if your body got a soul. How y'all feeling tonight?
I'm Deucey Clips from Bang Data, and you're watching the fantastic traveling film Circus. Coqui Calavera en la casa. Calaveras all day, baby. One love.
What's the use in trying? She'll never compromise. She's putting out my fire. Oh, yeah. As cold as ice. I know she's out there running, yeah. Running, yeah, with another man. With a woman never learn. Oh, no. She'll never understand. Oh, that I can't stop, can't stop, can't stop.
Thank you, Oakland, for having me here on the stage with you here tonight. I appreciate you for the bottom of my brave heart. My dude, Green Lantern, much love to all of y'all. Have a good night. Enjoy yourselves tonight. Drink. Do your thing. I'm doing my thing with you, too.
Bay Area, make some goddamn noise for Nas right now!
Peace and love. DJ Green Lantern.